Thank you.
Oh.
This is what we wear all the time.
We're available in the gift shop downstairs.
All three of it in here.
It's our way of knowing him.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
This is why we did it.
Yeah.
So, whose idea was it ultimately to
It was really the three of us. We've all been friends since childhood. Hayden and I became friends in high school. We met Josh at the beginning of college, and we separately fell in love with the Karate Kid movies, and we separately loved the Cobra Kai characters, and we all have a comedy background, and we all thought it was just hilarious that there was this like high school karate gang that was terrorizing a school, and just the concept of Billy's character and just the characters that he played in the 80s. We were sort of obsessed with it, and it was we were young screenwriters in LA, and we would hang out every night and just sort of watch movies, watch DVDs, and we had the Karate Kid Special Edition came out, and we're watching interviews, and we see Billy Zabka's interview where he's talking about how in his mind he viewed himself as the hero of his own story, that he was just another kid in a high school who was trying to make it work that year and had a breakup with a girl that he was in love with, and just sort of hearing him talk about this character that we viewed so much as a bully, we started thinking, wouldn't it be great to tell a story of what happens to that bully? And so even 15 years ago, the three of us talked about maybe doing this as a movie. Didn't feel practical then. Fast forward a bunch of years later, we make a bunch of different movies separately, and the world of sort of streaming happens, and we're like, this would be far more interesting as a 10-episode season where you can dig into Billy's character, dig into Ralph's character, and then create a whole new generation of karate kids that people can fall in love with. And we're lucky that 15 years ago the movie idea never went anywhere, and that we got to do this instead.
So it wasn't wish fulfillment from How I Met Your Mother?
No, we...
It's funny, people ask us all the time about How I Met Your Mother and the YouTube video about Daniel being the real bully, and the truth is those two things, we saw them and we liked them. It just showed that Billy Zabka and the Cobra Kais were on a lot of people's brains. I think a lot of people think about those characters in fond ways as like fun villains, and I think for us it just reinforced the fact that there was an audience out there that would like this type of story.
Were there things you were saving for season 2 that you wanted to do all along?
There were things that in season 1 we thought we were going to do in season 1 and just didn't have the runway to get to in a way that felt like we were honoring the storyline in a proper way, and we kicked down the road. And then there are things once we got to season 2 that it felt like, okay, well let's deal with some of that baggage, and some of that baggage got kicked down the road again, even because you have so many balls in the air at any given time. There's so many characters in our universe now, between all the kids and all of the spider web of rivalry that has now erupted in the valley, that what you thought may have been a really important storyline to get out there very early suddenly becomes a secondary storyline that isn't dependent on the drive of the moment. We want to make sure that this continues to feel like a movie that is, you can't really get up in the middle of because it's just at the part that's getting good. And that's our goal at all times, is to really make this feel like one big cohesive thing.
I was going to say that, in addition, one of the key elements of season 2 that we knew we were going to do was do this dojo versus dojo battle. So, we built all through season 1 2 main things. One is to eventually get to the place where Daniel was going to open his own dojo, and 2, the very last scene of the first season where you see Sensei Kreese. We knew that we wanted to explore the Johnny Kreese father-son, like dysfunctional father-son relationship in season 2. So those were 2 key elements that I know from the very beginning we thought would be crucial, parts of season 2.
A big part of the show is just Johnny getting over his past, and we knew that he can't fully do that without encountering his former sensei, and so that was always baked into in our minds a big part of the story. And so it's fun, you get to see it in season 2, and it's been in our minds for years now.
William talked about how Johnny could have been different if he had Miyagi as his sensei instead. So how much will we be unpacking how like father figures influence their
I think
mentees.
I think we're unpacking that in series on an ongoing basis. I think we see the end of season 1, Johnny Lawrence dealing with the beginnings of a question in terms of, is it my karate or is it me, or what is it that has is not quite sitting right here? And I think that's just one of the defining characteristics of Johnny as we wrote him from the very beginning, in terms of Johnny's relationship with Cobra Kai is something we will continue to explore in season 2, and it's something that he's going through. In a lot of ways, Johnny Lawrence is going through his own kind of therapy. He just happens to go through it by bringing a bunch of kids into a room and teaching them karate.
And one of the fun things about having a series as opposed to a movie is you get to spend time with all different types of characters, and to have 2 schools, you get to kind of play the hypothetical. What would happen if this type of kid was taught Cobra Kai style, or this type of kid is taught Miyagi-Do style? And so those kind of what if hypotheticals that you would have, you could see present day, because in a lot of ways in season 1, Miguel Cholo Maridueña's character is sort of like a 2018 version of like Daniel LaRusso, and you get to see, well, what would have happened had LaRusso actually been trained in Cobra Kai, and we play with that as the show goes on.
Have you been gratified that you had this idea for where Johnny and Daniel would be, and now people have stayed for the second generation, so really absorbing Miguel's
It's the best. It's one of those things that is a great challenge with taking on a beloved franchise, and we have the beloved characters there. The key for us was finding actors who people would fall in love with and people would get emotionally connected with, and our young cast every day we're blown away by them, from their performance in terms of some of them are really funny, some of them are just handle the emotional scenes extremely well. All of them can kick ass, but didn't know how to kick ass beforehand, which is the crazy thing. Like, no one knew karate, and they all came in and they want to work hard. They want to, do as many of their stunts as they can, and it's awesome to see people falling in love with these characters. We fall in love with them ourselves,
but the secret is loving the original characters and showing where they are in the present day and using them as the entry point to the new characters. I think that's the real challenge. Everybody knows when they're bringing a franchise back, you want to have young blood and fresh faces, but a lot of times it just for fans of the original, they're like, well, I like the original, and so for us, we wanted something that fans of the original Karate Kid would just flip for. And as they're getting sucked into the original characters, they start caring about these other characters because they matter to Daniel, they matter to Johnny, and then before you know it, they matter to you too.
With YouTube announcing that they're no longer pursuing original programming, is this going to affect season 3?
That hasn't really been announced. It's there, as far as we know, they're continuing to do original programming. I know that there's changes in their plan. All we know and all we've been told is that they love Cobra Kai and that they view Cobra Kai as a long-term part of their platform. So we haven't
been given any indication that this affects Cobra Kai negatively at all, and yeah, as far as we know, the news is not necessarily the news.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.